Welcome back to the Nullify Take, but we've got the TNT takes for you on the Challenge Australia. I am here with one of the first two contestants that were eliminated here in the first episode, Billy Dip. Billy, how are you doing today?
Doing really well, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so appreciative of you jumping on. Obviously, you've been pretty open on your social media that you're going through a bit of a battle at the moment yourself that's not challenge related. So thank you so much for taking the time. And I just wanted to start off by saying I wish you a speedy recovery.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the listeners and all the love and support I'm gaining. Thank you so much.
Now, Billy, start off with the Challenge Australia. This is the first time it's ever being done over in Australia. How did you get the call? Were you aware of the challenge? What made you want to do this?
I mean, I got a call from Max Marks and asking if I'd like to be a part of this show called The Challenge. And, I quickly looked it up online and I thought, yep, this is definitely something that I want to do. It's right up my alley. I've got a lot of energy, and I thought this is a perfect show for me. Go out there and just showcase my ability. I didn't realize it was such a clout chasing show. To be quite honest with you, the American shows are a little bit different to the Aussie show, but at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity for me to go over there and showcase my ability and showcase who I was as a person. Unfortunately, my time there was cut short. But that things like that happen, in previous seasons that I've watched on the American show. Sometimes, you'll have a guy who makes it to the end, wins the championship, and then the next round he loses in the first round. So, you're only as good as your partner. Unfortunately for me, Susan was there for a bit of clout chasing, I guess, But I came to win, but unfortunately, it is what it is, and that's the way it goes down.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there the American show. Did you go and watch some of the American show seasons and things like that prior to coming on? And were you aware were you aware of the Challenge USA and the format that was on that show?
Definitely. I'd watched it closely. I jumped on Netflix and started watching all of the seasons and trying to get my head around what was coming up, what I was going to be facing. Obviously when it came down to, Susan and I versus Cyrell and Jack, I thought, okay, if this is a one-on-one battle thing, I'm going to be sweet. So, I really wanted to go out there and just do the best that I could. But unfortunately for me, it turned out to be teamwork, and Cyrell and Jack were just able to outdo, I guess, me and Susan. Susan really wasn't really pulling the weight. She was trying to be more of a dictator, and it's quite sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm sort of interested, Billy, when you got onto the show, were there people that you knew on the show? And did you have people that you gravitated towards early on in the game that you wanted to work with?
Look, when I was at the airport, I met a girl by the name of Sugar Neeks, and she was a professional boxing champion who I hadn't heard of in the past, but I was super, super surprised to hear that she was IBF World Champion, and super keen to team up with her because I knew, two fighters together, that's going to be a deadly combination. But then I quickly gravitated towards Marley. Me and Marley kicked it off really well. Me and Ryan and me and Troy. So we started to, Grant was also pretty cool. So we just got to chatting and stuff like that, and sharing stories about, my journey in boxing and things that I'd experienced, and telling a lot of Mike Tyson stories and what have you. But then obviously you get to the show, and then it's down to the business side of things. And when I got there, I thought that it was going to be me and Neeks partnering up, because we had sort of agreed that we'd partner up. And then right in the last second, Barney was like, "Okay, everybody choose a new partner," and I was sort of caught out in the lurch. And next thing you know, Susan walking towards me, and I thought, it was like, "Oh, I don't know about this," but anyway. It is what it is. At the end of the day, Susan's a nice person. I don't hold no grudges against anybody. It is what it is. It's just a game. And what's happened is happened. And, it was a great experience. To be, I'm just so thankful to the challenge, and so thankful to Brian and that for giving me an opportunity to get on the show and showcase who I am.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that some of the early seasons, there's players that have won and then went out early in the next season. There's actually even the greatest player of all time over in the US, Johnny Bananas, who've won more than anybody else. He left, I believe, first or second in his first season as well. So you never know. I mean, if there's the opportunity in the future, you get another call. Would you be answering it if Bryony wanted you to come back and play in the Challenge USA season 2? And if you're obviously physically capable of doing it?
Well, let's just put it this way. If God allows me to walk out of this hospital alive, which I believe He will, and I get a call up from the Challenge Australia saying we'd like to see you in the next season, I'll definitely be acknowledging that with a yes. You can hold me to that.
Well, definitely. And you mentioned that Susan walked up to you and sort of wanted to partner up with you. Did you have any conversations with Susan prior to this? Were you shocked that she gravitated towards you? Why do you think she chose you so early on?
Well, Susan and I are with the same sort of company in regards to Max Markson. And when we were on the plane, she was like, "Oh, we need to stick together and this and that." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, for sure." You know what I mean? But I never thought that she'd walk towards me. Like obviously I was a little bit, you know, shocked at the time, and I knew that this was going to be a task where you're going to need to have some fitness behind you, and she didn't look like the fittest person. But at the end of the day, you got to take the cards that you dealt with, and that was the card that I was dealt with, and I just did the best that I can, and I was trying to will her over the line by holding her hand, telling her to grab on my shoulders, do whatever you got to do. Let me just help you. Let's get to these tokens. We can't get eliminated, and in the end, unfortunately, it crumbled the way that it did, and we were set to go home, and it is what it is. But as I said to you, setbacks pave the way for comebacks, and I'm already preparing myself mentally for the next season.
That's a great place to be. Also, you seem to be a man of faith. You seem to be a man who's really into your religion. How difficult was it to be in this house where you're an athlete? You're someone that probably don't drink. You're focused on your craft your whole life. To be in this house where it seemed like people wanted to let loose a little bit, and there was more of a party vibe as well. Do you believe that made it a little bit harder for you to connect with some of your castmates here in the early stages?
Definitely, most definitely. But at the end of the day, as I said, each to their own. I sort of just took my time to sit away from those things. Anytime any partying or drinking or anything was going on, I always just found a little corner for myself to sit in. I've never drank alcohol in my life, never smoked a cigarette, never taken a drug, never been that party type of guy. So, I just would sort of just ease my way to the side, sort of try to stay away from everything. And at the end of the day, I don't discriminate against anybody. They can do what they want to do, and I just do what I want to do.
Yeah. And that first daily challenge, we spoke about it a little bit, yourself and Susan being together. How difficult was it? Did it translate on the TV? How difficult it was for you to run up and down that staircase the whole time and get your plates? Can you talk me through the challenge itself and the difficulties you had maybe doing that and working with your partner?
For me, it was quite easy because I do a lot of stairs work. Like my uncle Angelo, who's my strength and conditioning trainer and my running coach, he makes me do loads of the time. So for me, that was something that I was prepared for. We were actually preparing for that. We actually did that in the lead up. So you know, when that challenge came up, I was good to go. But the thing is that if it was just me running up and running back down, running up and running back down, I could do it no problem. But the thing is, here I am trying to pull this weight called Susan up the stairs, down the stairs, and you're not allowed to touch the token unless your partner's like right next to you. So it was really, really challenging. And I'm up there, like I'd make it up there, and then she wouldn't be up there for the next like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm screaming, "Susan, come on, we got to get this token," But it is what it is. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna bag Susan. She did the best that she could. That's her physical capability, and at the end of the day, we're all capable in certain ways. She's a very capable fashionista, but when it comes to her fitness and stuff, she's got work to do.
Now, Jack and Cyril, they were ultimately chosen as the team that everybody was going to sabotage and make sure that they were going to be last. Can you talk me through how that decision was made and when you found out that they're the team, or how much of a part you took in actually nominating them as the team that was going to be last in that challenge?
Well, I really had nothing to do with it, to be honest. So I had nothing to do with that at all. I was just as soon as Bryony flipped the switch and basically said, "Okay, you got to fill somebody's plate up," everyone's seen that Cyrell was really struggling to get her breath in, and so everyone was like, "Let's just go for Cyrell." So I just followed suit. I mean, everyone was dropping her on her one, so I just said, "Okay, I'm just going to follow suit. Whatever it is, what it is." That's the name of the game. But at the end of the day, as you saw, Cyrell and Jack ended up winning. So, it is, what seemed to be like going to be a walk in the park didn't it ended up being a bit of a difficult situation. And obviously uh Susan wasn't just I mean Susan wasn't physically capable enough to climb and pull this rope and stuff, so it is what it is.
Now, it kind of looked like you had a conversation with Emily at the party club scene where you sort of tried to use an intimidating tactic to not get eliminated, or I guess, or not get voted into the elimination, I should say. Looking back at that now, can you talk me through what your thinking was, sort of having that conversation with Emily?
Well, I approached Emily just saying that, look, ideally I don't want to go in, but if I have to, I will. I did say to Emily, I said to her that if it's a one-on-one thing, you know, I'm not sure if Jack's your friend, you want to put him up against me in a one-on-one situation, but I mean, that's your call. At the end of the day, he's your friend. So it's just lucky for Jack that it wasn't a one-on-one thing, because if it was, I'm more than capable when it comes to one-on-one. I'm a good wrestler. I'm a good, all that sort of stuff. So, but luckily enough for Jack, it wasn't a one-on-one thing, and it was teamwork. And he and Cyril were able to work well together. And me and Susan, Susan wasn't willing to put her body on the line. That's the end of it.
Yeah. How shocked were you to find out that Jack and Sorrel was targeting your team so early on? What do you think the reason was that they were coming after you?
Because there was a situation that broke out where I went out to have a conversation with Emily, and Jack and Cyril sort of, you know, being clout chasers, come out and wanted to get involved. They seen the cameras were there, and they just came out and basically shared a few words, and I shared a couple of words with them, and I think that was the start of that was basically the downfall that happened there, because originally they weren't looking at me and Susan. They were looking at somebody else, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, they ended up choosing us, and we were eliminated. And as I said, we went home early, but again, Johnny Bananas, as you said, had been eliminated first and come back and won many, many series, and I plan on coming back and winning a few series myself. Don't worry about that.
That's the champion's attitude. I love that. Also, looking at the cast, you were out there, you saw firsthand what people had to offer in this first daily challenge. Who were you the most impressed by, and who do you think that we as the viewers should look out for the rest of the season?
There's a few people who they need to watch out for. I would definitely say um, Kieran is one of them. He's a competitor. Kieran. You got Marley's an absolute gun. Troy and Corin. They're four that I've really just to me probably the aces at the moment in the show. So I definitely feel that I'd love to see Marley pull it out, but I believe like Grant, Corin, Kieran, Troy, one of them guys is in with a big opportunity, especially Troy. Troy's Ninja Warrior and stuff like that, very strong physically, mentally. So it's going to be in this game is a lot to do with strength, and he has a lot of that.
Mm. No, that's great. Also, Billy, I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything you want at this stage. Let people, make them aware of anything you're doing or anything that's going on. If you've got anything that you want to sort of say
Yeah, for
to the
sure.
fans.
Yeah, for sure. Look, so I've got been working really hard on my autobiography for some time now, and hopefully sometime next year in February or March, my autobiography will drop, and it's going to be a tell-all, the story of my life. Hopefully, the book will end with me beating this cancer, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out of this place and just getting back to my life with my family. And to all the listeners and the followers out there, if you'd like to follow my journey, it's very simple. You can follow me at Billy Dib on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I appreciate the love and support, and thank you guys so much. To the Challenge Australia, thank you for the opportunity. And
We may have lost Billy there. But I'll be sure for those people that have listened to this podcast or this video on YouTube, I'll be sure to put the links on the description for this as well.